Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back
to
it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yeah! Choo-choo!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. Yeah. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman, and I'm fast on the draw.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you jumped on. I love it. No, you're excited. You're excited. I'm sick. We're day drinking. We don't care.
Who cares?
This is fun stuff. So let's get into this. We have a wild episode for you today, as you might imagine. All aboard the murder train as we pull away from the station here. Wild stuff. Just have to tell you, definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com/virtual live.
Oh!
Tickets to the virtual live show, October the 26th. It'll be available for a week after that as well. You can watch it as many times as you want, all through Halloween. We're going to have costumes on, doing a creepy Halloween show. We cannot wait for it. So if you've ever heard a virtual live show, or seen one, I should say, just like a regular live show, but in your living room or your back porch or on your roof or wherever you want to listen to it. I don't care.
In your bed.
In your bathroom. I don't care. Yeah, take a dump and watch us. Who cares? Do it up and hang out with us. We cannot wait. And also, while you're at shutupandgivememurder.com, pick up tickets for the live show, the regular live show, Dallas, December the 2nd. That is the only one left with tickets. Everything else is sold out. We can't wait to see you, Philly, Washington, and Boston. Yeah. We're excited for our Northeastern swing here.
Should be great.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Check that out. You definitely want to listen to our new show, our new podcast, which if you're listening when this comes out regularly, it's out now. Your Stupid Opinions. Go ahead, subscribe, check it out.
Go get it.
We're going to make fun of all things reviews from the internet, which is so much fun because it's way more about the person doing the reviewing than the actual thing they're reviewing. We all know that stuff. So that's fun. Patreon.com/crime in sports is where you get all of your bonus material.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything. Anybody $5 a month or above, a mere cup of coffee.
Right.
That's all it is. 1 cup of coffee out of your whole month will get you instead your whole back catalog, over 200 episodes of back stuff you can listen to, bonus stuff, only available there for $5. You got to be kidding me. And then 2 new episodes every other week. 1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder. This week is no different. What you're going to get this week for crime and sports, we're going to talk about Operation Slapshot, which was a big gambling scandal in the NHL in the 2000s. And then we're also going to talk about the movie Slapshot.
What a show.
Neither of us had seen it somehow in our our whole lives, so we're going to add it to our list of favorite sports movies and talk a lot about it.
The dressing guy.
It's ridiculous. You feel shame. How do we not see that? It's so funny. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about Fire Festival and Fire Festival 2, which is coming up, and all this. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, the financials, what went on, how much did Billy McFarland piss away on private jets and everything else. We'll talk all about it.
Why do you guys do this?
Oh my goodness. Patreon.com/crime and sports, and you get a shout out at the end of the regular show. That said, what do you say we get right into this? Let's do it.
Have a time.
Let's do it. I think it's all time to sit back, everybody, clear the old lungs, and put your beer down if you're anything like us right now, and let's arms to the sky, and let's all shout, "Shut up and give me murder."
Okay.
Let's do this, Jimmy.
That feels better.
That feels good. Cleared it all out.
Yeah.
Let's go on a trip. What do you say?
Okay.
That clears everything. I'm telling you. Shut up and give me murder will clear the soul for the day. Let's go on a trip. We're going to Minnesota.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. We enjoyed our time in Minneapolis very much, as we always do. And we even were there. The weather was crazy. We had that was
golf
ball hail pelting our hotel room windows. I was like, oh my God, this is terrifying. It was great. We loved it. Yeah. The crowd there is always the best. We just love that. We love those people. So this here is right outside of Minneapolis, actually. And I know our last episode was right outside of Minneapolis. Sure. We like to move around the state, but tough shit. This is what we got. This is better. This is the most interesting case I found this time.
Great.
So this is in Crystal, Minnesota, with a C. Crystal with a C, not like an 80s child who was named Crystal.
Like the meth, yeah.
Yeah, like the meth. This is southeastern Minnesota, obviously. It's 15 minutes to Minneapolis, so it's right outside Minneapolis. 25 minutes to Andover, which is our last Minnesota episode, which was Bones in the Bonfire.
Jesus.
It was a creepy one.
My God.
I remember that one. And this is
not sure how many are there.
We don't know. They're still counting. This is in Hennepin County. Population of this town, 23,143. So even though it's pretty close to Minneapolis in the tight suburban area, it's still a pretty small place. And everybody says it's got a real small town feel. Median household income here, way higher than the national average, about 20,000 higher, 77,117.
They are doing it up there.
They are.
My Christ, they're making money.
Median home cost is pretty average, $292,600. So
that's amazing.
Not bad for if you're making good money. Why not? A little bit of history of this town. The first settler of Crystal Lake Township, and yes, this is around a lake called Crystal Lake, which if you're a horror movie enthusiast, you're already terrified of. That's not good. A guy named John Ware Dow came. He arrived on March 26th and was the first guy there, I guess, to settle. And then the next day, another guy came, John C. Bohannon, and he had to be pissed when he showed up.
There's already a John here?
I'm not even the only John, everybody. There's 2 people and we're both John? This is ridiculous. This isn't fair. And then later on in the year, so they were there for months, just the 2 of them hanging out. Yeah, they were there was something going on. They at least jerked each other off or something in a tent just to stay warm, maybe.
Yeah. Or he showed him the most moist tree to fuck.
Yeah, like, oh, you got to see this one. This is my best sheep. And he introduced him. Then a lady named Mrs. Rhoda Bean came. That was the next people that came, like in the winter. So later on, I don't know why you'd show up in Minnesota in the winter. Maybe wait it out, show up in the spring like the other people.
She didn't plan well, Rhoda.
No. In 1860, though, the government authorized the organization of Crystal Lake Township. Oh. And this is right when Minneapolis is thriving, too. So at that point, they're separate places. Minneapolis wasn't incorporated until 1866. So this is all around the same time it's popping off. This didn't just they didn't run out of room in Minneapolis and make another town. This was a separate thing of its own.
It's a race.
It's a race. Here's some reviews of this town, because what do we know? So that's what we do. Yeah. We check out what other people think. 5 stars is the first one. Crystal is a quiet area. It feels like you're tucked away, yet only 15 minutes from downtown.
Oh.
So, I mean, that's not bad. Here's another 5 stars. I really like Crystal. I've lived here since I was 3, and it is very safe. Most people are friendly, and it's easy to start conversation with most people. There is a lot of good places to get food, which is really nice, and there is a Target, which I love.
Well, so, there's always that.
There's always a Target, honestly. There's a Target, so everything's fine. Whoa.
Your arena is also named after them, so I'll bet there's a shitload of Targets.
There's a lot of Targets. Yeah, they probably got it pretty well covered up there. 3 stars. It depends on exactly where you live in Crystal. Okay. Now we're getting the dirt here. Okay. Like many cities, there's always the good and the bad part. Overall, the experience is great for the home value. So, not that bad. Here's 3 stars. Not the best or the worst.
Oh.
Okay. That's 3 stars. That's perfect rating then. Police are slow to respond. It can take them 20 minutes to show up. How often are you calling them? How often are you calling them, though, where you're like, yeah, they're up to 20 minutes now. Last month, they were here a lot sooner.
Right. It can take them that long, but they're also earlier?
You know how long it takes the cops to get here in my area?
No.
I have no fucking idea, because I've never called them. So, how often are you calling the cops?
Yeah.
That's silly.
Why do you need them?
Yeah, well, why are you needing them so much? Maybe this is about you. Again, the reviews are more about the reviewer. Here's 2 stars. There is not really any attractions in my area that I live in.
You're 15 minutes from Minneapolis,
yeah, just drive. It's right there from downtown. Yeah.
There's so much great shit there.
You can see us when we're in town touring. Come on.
There you go.
Here's 2 stars. A child just went missing in our neighborhood, and an Amber Alert was not issued. Why?
What the fuck?
I do not feel police are doing enough to find him. Police are slow to respond in an emergency. So
is he still missing?
I don't know. This was in 2015, so
I'm worried about this kid now.
He's either missing or he could be in college by now. This was 8 years ago.
Or he moved and
he's in the NFL now. Yeah. That's what he is. Things to do in this town. Crystal Frolics.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're saying Crystal Frolics or if this is like the frolicking of Crystal. I'm not sure how this is supposed to be done, but it features thousands of visitors, entertainment, inflatables, food trucks, beverages, and more. Of course.
Festival, yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Here are your musical performers.
Yep.
Abba K, ABHA space K, a musician and composer based in Minneapolis. Enough said. You got a local.
Abba.
That's good. Yeah. Alicia Thao, Thao, raised in Tulsa, based in St. Paul, versatile performer, well-versed in various genres.
Local gal.
Ashley DeBose, renowned for her hit single, Intoxicated. Okay.
I don't know if that's true.
She was on season 5 of The Voice.
All right.
And there's that, so that's where she's from.
I'm out.
Dorber Wooloo is a local hip-hop artist and student advisor.
And an essay.
Do they rap like fucking academic advice?
They rap about the University of Minnesota?
They rap about not having a hot plate in your dorm. There's a lot of shit like that. Like, I want to make sure.
Rap about never knowing Kevin Garnett.
I never met Stephon Marbury when he was here, and I'm disappointed about it. I hung out with J.R. Ryder, and this is why things are going bad.
I do this.
Between sets, though, DJ Soul 2 Dots, a Midwest born and bred artist, will take you on a musical journey. So there's that. And then in addition to this, there is a search for the crystal ball. There's a treasure hunt.
Okay.
Sounded like Fire Festival.
Somebody buries it? Does it exist?
And on their way, don't know. The winner will receive $500 worth of gift cards from local businesses. They have the first clue, but it's like a poem that's 80 lines long, and I'm not going to read it now because who cares about that? Yeah. So go to Crystal Frolics. And that said, let's talk about a murder. What do you say?
Holy shit. I really wanted to move here until I heard about how they have fun.
Yeah, this is fun. This is how they frolic, Jimmy.
God damn it.
This is how they frolic. So search for the crystal ball. You must wear your pin while you search for it, though, for some fucking reason. I don't know why that's important, but
to let everybody know that you're involved. So
I'm involved.
Some weirdo digging in a trash can.
Following through others. You've paid the $5 or whatever it is to search for it. So that said, let's talk about a murder.
Okay.
Let's start out with a man here. Let's talk about a man. His name is Paul Arthur Wilson.
Okay.
Very simple. As simple. All regular spellings, very simple. He is born April 20th, which is the same birthday as Hitler. Yeah. That's not good. 1967.
Okay.
So he's either like a real fun guy, likes to blow some blunts here and then, or he's Hitler, which is a real big range in between there. Hitler didn't seem like a real fun weed smoking kind of guy. You know what I mean? Just
didn't feel fun at all.
No.
I don't know.
No, if you've heard our Nazis on Drugs episode, he's a meth guy. He loves it. So
never heard of that guy having a good time.
No, he's an upper guy. Upper people aren't fun.
No,
they're just not. They're scary sometimes.
They need that to be fun, and then when they're they're not being fun.
They tend to have weird ideas, as we know.
Yeah,
so
bad ideas.
Bad ideas. Now Wilson, Paul here, he said that he had his first drink when he was 14.
All right.
And drank until he passed out. He loved it so much. He drank his first time drinking. He just drank till he passed out.
Which probably took 4 to 5 beers, but still that's a really wild choice.
That's as soon as the first drop hit his lips, he said, "Yes, this is for me." And
binge
from that
drinker
on,
from day one,
which is rare. That's a rarity here. Even people don't get into Coke that hard. It takes a couple of times where they're like, I do a line, I do that. And then, a week from then, you're up all night going, I need more Coke, but it takes a while.
First day I did Coke, I sold my car. That's what that is.
That's what that is, exactly. Whereas booze, he just passed out. Yeah. So he was huge into alcohol, obviously, as a teenager. Also drugs, too.
Okay.
He's a teenager in the early 70s and early 80s, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's most often on the weekends, obviously, because when you're in school, it's hard to be really shit-faced in class. Right. That's hard. They notice, usually. When kids aren't supposed to just fall down for no reason, so when they see that, they tend to ask questions.
The man drinks till he passes out. You can't do that in third period.
I was going to say, especially in high school, because you have to move from your seat after 40 minutes, so they're going to notice you're not in biology and you've taken math class 3 times today. They notice that. So he meets a woman in 1986. So he meets a young woman just like him. Obviously, he's a young man, but a young woman, Marianne Hagford, Hagfrod, Hagford. She's born July 26, 1965, so she's a couple years older than him, but they're in the same ballpark. They're both young. Because at the time in 86, what's he, 19? Yeah. She's like 21, 22, so, young people. They meet at a job they worked at together.
What
at the Scoville Press. I think it's like a small newspaper. Yeah. They both worked there. And apparently she was just as much into drinking as he was. He found a kindred spirit in this, which when you find that significant special other and they have just as much of a substance problem as you do, that's not good. It feels great, I'm sure, because then you don't feel like a piece of shit, because every other relationship you've had, you felt like a monster, and now you're like, no,
dissolved. Right.
I'm normal. This is normal to drink till you pass out every night. Okay.
Right. But
not good.
There are substances you can, there's a substance you can do that at the same pace, it's fine.
Yeah. As you can tell from me and Sarah. It's
the only one.
You can witness us. We do great.
Alcoholics tend to have alcoholic fights.
That's the problem.
That's ugly.
And also, they're not even like, again, sturdy on their feet, so it gets dangerous.
Oh, that's not good at all.
It's bad, but I guess they get involved in a relationship pretty quick. But I guess everybody says she seems to have her shit together. Like, she'll drink at night till she passes out, but then in the morning, she's fresh as a daisy and at work on time. You know what I mean?
One. How about that?
Yeah. So it's called a functioning alcoholic is what that is. That's
sometimes
tough.
we do terrific, but other times we may fall apart.
We may fall apart. She was born in Hennepin, Minnesota. Her father's name is Richard Earl Hagford, so Dick Hagford is a rough name.
Jesus Christ, as if the last name wasn't brutal enough.
Yeah, Hagford sounds like a tough guy, and now you're Dick Hagford. He sounds like Dick Hagford will punch you right in the mouth. That's the thing, though. His mother and her mother's name is Doris. So Doris and Dick, her parents.
Jesus.
And she is one of 6 kids, by the way, too.
Oh, my.
4 brothers and a sister. So that's an interesting household to grow up in. It's a lot of kids. It's a very Brady
4
Bunch.
Boys, forget it.
And if they're older, I mean, the daughters, that's what ends up happening is the daughters end up having to do everything the boys are doing because they're forced to.
Right.
So May of 1986, Paul, I guess he figured out he wasn't doing well, and he decides he's going to check himself into rehab.
Oh.
He said that, it's what I mean. He said, and it's because of an incident. Something happened, and he said, well, that's not good. I need help. And he went. So this is good. These are good things. I guess he and Marianne went to the Apple River in Wisconsin on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Is what he said. And he was, from that, he said he had, quote, stupid, embarrassing behavior during the trip.
Oh, no.
What he called stupid and embarrassing, which a blackout drunk, imagine what they think.
Yeah.
You know, it's their version of stupid and embarrassing is way, like I've said something that's slightly wrong and I'll beat myself up about it for 7-8 years, where a drunk can literally pee on your leg and not even be like, what are you mad about? Like 15 minutes later.
Did he rent a motorhome and piss in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And piss in the bed, and that's embarrassing.
You had to like run a child over with your car to be like, that was stupid and embarrassing. Jesus Christ.
There's got to
killed
be
him.
There's got to be human waste or death or injury involved for it to be something that you're embarrassed about. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, publicly having shit all over you,
right?
Or you hurt a child. The only thing that can do that.
Vomit on a kid.
So he checks in. He stays for about 10 days in rehab.
That's a long one.
Which that's a stint. And back then too. Now people stay for 30 days, 3 months. They stay, but 10 days back then was considered you should be all fixed up by now.
Right.
In the 80s, that was like,
but that's a dedicated chance of recovery.
It is
10 days.
It's better than the DTs have stopped. That's helpful.
You've certainly gone through them. That's for sure. Yeah,
shit has stopped. You're at least detoxed. So he gets out, and within 3 hours, he is shit-faced again.
Really?
Yeah, 10 days of sobriety. It was just to heal up the liver a little bit. We've known. You know who I'm talking about. He went to the doctor, our friend, and they told him, if you don't stop drinking, and he was like 33, you are going to die. Your liver's going to fall out. So he stopped for like a week and was like, well, that'll be good. And he said, you got to stop every once in a while just to let it heal up for a minute, and then you can get right back into it. And I was like, whoa.
It regenerates, you see.
Whoa. It was like, holy shit.
You don't get a whole new liver after a week.
No problem. You'll be after a week, it's like brand new. It's like a baby's liver. It's pink and ready for action.
Like there's polishing shrimp in there fixing it up right now? No.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just one of those little
guys that just,
algae eaters. That's what's sucking on the walls of it. It's fine
all
now.
Fixed.
Yeah, it's all fixed up. So when he gets out, they get shit-faced together, and they move in together that summer.
Okay.
So they move in. They're ready to make a go of this thing. They've known each other for 3 months, and they've been shit-faced every day of it and ready to make a go of it. So,
well, in 90 days, they've been together 80 because 10 he was in rehab.
He was in rehab, and she was like drinking, go, when is he going to be home?
Boy, do I miss him.
Damn it. So they start dating, obviously. They move in together. By August of 86... I mean, all they're drinking constantly, the two of them. That's all they do. August of 86, Paul Wilson gets his 3rd drunk driving conviction.
How old is he?
19.
Third. 3.
You're not even old enough to drink.
Right.
Legally. And you have 3 already?
What the fuck?
That's wild. He's required to attend Alcoholics Anonymous meetings for a week. That's part of his sentence. A week. A week, 10 days. It's quick. It's fix him right up.
So serious.
Wow. And I guess Marianne came with him, and she went too.
Oh.
She's like, well, if you're going, maybe it's good for me too. I mean, who knows? Yeah. He would later say, quote, invariably, when we left a meeting, we'd stop at a liquor store to buy booze.
Invariably. Every goddamn time.
Every time. Yep. So they end up, they're doing so. They both have jobs, though. They keep their jobs. They keep this steady employment, and they buy a house together in 88 somehow. Wow. I don't know how they're saving any money. I don't know how their life gets to the point where they can even, you got to fill out a lot of paperwork to buy a house. It's not easy. You really got to want it. You got to be sober for most of that.
Functioning is like a very
hard.
It's a soft word for what they're doing. They're genuinely participating in the American dream and life for people that are booze hounds.
He's 21. He just bought a house. This is crazy. I didn't have a house till much later. So they were they're drinking. They would just drink till they passed out every night, pretty much. Marianne eventually loses her job.
Yeah,
because of not showing up because she drinks till she passes out.
There's only so much coffee, man.
That's when you show up and you go, you are just rougher every day. Like
Folgers ain't doing it.
No, you smell like the floor of an Old West saloon right now. This is awful. So she ended up moving out in May of 88 of their house that they just bought somehow. And basically that's how they would do it. They would, for the next few years, they live in this house together until one moves out for a month or two and then comes back. And one will leave and come back and the other will leave and come back. And that's what they do.
God, the 80s.
The 80s. Because they're always fighting because they're both so drunk they don't even remember what happened the next day.
Sure.
That's the other thing that happens.
So easy to forgive and forget when forget already happened.
When I don't even know what happened. And he said they drank constantly, quote, because we were breathing, is the way he put it, Paul.
Jesus.
Because we were breathing. He said, we and the bottle were our own best friends.
I got a feeling they're not drinking beer either. This is real booze. Hard drinking.
The bottle, stopping at a liquor store.
Right.
This is booze.
Sharing
they're drinking.
A fifth.
Wait till you hear what the hell he puts. It's anything they can get a hold of. It's not like, well, I drink vodka or I drink bourbon.
Really?
You'll have, I'll drink some gin. I'll have some brandy. I'll have some.
Oh my God.
What do you got there? Some of that. Great. Sounds good. Cooking sherry. Great. I'll drink it.
We drink wet. That's what we drink.
We drink anything that gets us drunk and is wet. So we and the bottle were our own best friends. So the two of them, they didn't socialize that much. They would just drink together. That's all they did. It was their life. They were like crackheads, but drunks. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
It's crazy, yeah. So their relationship, a bunch of people said Hagford, Marianne, has frequent bruises and black eyes. And she told people that Paul hit her sometimes when they were drunk. And he denied ever hitting her, though. And or wanting to hurt her or anything like that. He does say that, in his opinion, she abused him on many occasions physically. Okay. So they're both hitting each other and saying that they're not abusing each other and hitting each other. It's in one case, he claimed that she picked up a loaded gun and threatened to blow his head off unless why? What's the guess?
Unless you go down on me. What is it?
Go down, you stop fucking, Tina, or you do this. No, unless he gave her a cigarette.
A cigarette or murder.
Or I'll kill you.
A cigarette or cold-blooded, premeditated murder in this living room.
Steel jacket in your brain, sir.
What is happening?
Something else. That's what he claims. I don't know if that's true or not. He said they both had unexplained bumps and bruises because when they were drinking, they would fall off the furniture or down the stairs all the time because they were so drunk they would fall down.
If you're a drunk, when is upstairs, downstairs even an option when purchasing a home?
Let's get a nice raised ranch and we'll all be comfortable. I don't think we should really be going
level is all
and
we're
downsies
here.
Yeah. I don't even want a basement, just a hard
How
concrete
often are we going
foundation.
in the attic? Fucking never.
Not at all, because I can't climb those steps. They're steep.
Wow.
Holy shit. He said, quote, sometimes just going from the couch to the kitchen to get another drink could be a real ordeal.
Holy.
This is the level, I think we've established the level of alcoholism that they have here. They share a house in the 2900 block of Veracruz Avenue North in Crystal. In case anybody lives around there, then go check that out. In August 1992, they have a domestic dispute here where police are called to the home in the afternoon. They're already well over the rainbow by then, and it's like 2. So... Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
According to the records, Marianne told police she argued with Wilson and he knocked her down and she hit her eye on the table. Yeah. So they said, did he punch you in the face? She goes, not exactly. He did knock me down, but then I got a black eye on the table. So it's a little column A, little column B. It's domestic violence and, I also actually got a black eye from hitting something from tripping. So
he threw me at the table kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The table was here. He threw the table at me, which would probably be, who knows, even worse. He said to police that he struck Marianne, but that she came at him first, which is not an excuse. By the way, she's 5'1", 115 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
she's as tiny as can be, doesn't eat food.
Probably doesn't take a lot to get her ham dogged.
That's what I mean. So,
oh, boy.
He said she came at him first and struck him on the shoulder with an object.
Okay.
Hit him with a weapon is what he said. He pleads guilty to a misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct, which definitely seems like a pled way down.
That's very kind.
In September of 92 and is sentenced to 10 days in the workhouse.
All right.
In the workhouse? What is this, the 20s? What the fuck are we talking about here?
You made a license plate?
The salt mines? What are we doing? And the sentence was stayed for 1 year, though. So I guess he doesn't have to do it for a year. I don't get that. Now, people want them to break up. No one in their lives thinks they're a good couple, obviously.
We're 30, 40 years beyond it. I want them to break up now.
Right now. And this happened a long time ago. Family and friends tried to break them up because of their drinking, and together they drank more. If they were broken up, they drank less separately. When he got them together, it was a mess. So one friend said that a relative said he never saw Marianne sober after May of 1993. Every time he saw her, she was fucking hammered. So December 19th, 1993, she's been solidly drunk for 8 months. He's been drunk for, 6, 7 years or so since rehab. And this morning, December the 19th, Paul wakes up at 6 a.m.
Okay.
Which tells me that he probably passed out early from drinking all day the day before.
Yeah.
When you hear his schedule, you'll understand why he maybe wakes up early. At 6 a.m., he begins drinking. He is
My God.
People are eating grape nuts, and he's fucking drinking. Put some vodka in my grape nuts. Like
somebody said, I'll eat the Special K today, and he went to booze.
He's like, well, I'll just grab a bottle. So begins drinking. By 11 a.m., he is hammered. By the way, by 11.
Oh yeah.
He calls his mother and tells him that he and Marianne are going to buy a Christmas tree today.
Okay.
They're very festive. So they're going to buy a tree.
The Virgin Mary's exploding. She's about to give birth. We need a tree around here.
I'm going to put her up on the top like an angel.
The Virgin Mary's a fat bitch. We need a tree.
We need a tree. Fuck her. She told me to stop drinking. I said, Mary, you don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Very drunk. So Wilson here tells his mother they're going to buy a tree. Then during this 10-minute conversation, his mother detected that he'd obviously been drinking and that his voice was not clear, and he sounded drunk on the phone. Now, for an alcoholic to sound drunk, they got to be really drunk.
Yeah.
6-7 drinks, you'd never notice it on this guy. He's got to be shit hammered. So just before noon, Wilson and Paul and Marianne drive to a Christmas tree lot. They're both hammered. He's got 4 fucking DUIs already.
He's looking for... Jesus
We're going to buy a tree now. And they're just going up there. Okay. They chose the particular lot because there's tons of lots with Christmas trees. They're all over the place. On December 19th, they want to get rid of those things. So they chose the lot they chose because they knew that it was right next door to the VFW and they could go get a drink in the VFW while they were there. They can't not drink while they're picking out a Christmas tree. This is crazy shit.
I cannot encourage you enough. If that is a thing you think of,
please,
get fucking help tomorrow.
Get a lot of help. Like, it's next door. So the two of them entered the VFW at noon, right after they got a tree, stayed for about an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. During that time, Paul had 2 shots of tequila and Marianne had a beer.
Okay, so she's going light today.
They're just passing time. They're like, well, we have to drink. I'm getting shaky. It's been an hour. So we drove to the lot. It's been a while. That's wild. So sometime during the time they're at the bar, there's some sort of problem between the two of them, obviously.
Yeah.
So apparently, from what witnesses said around here, Wilson says they didn't have an argument, Paul says, but Marianne left the bar before she did. So if they drove there together and she took off first, there's some sort of beef, obviously.
There's a disagreement.
Unless she got so drunk she forgot she was with him. That's also possible.
Yeah. Well, the two things they like sounds like are beer and cigarettes, and things that VFW halls have are beer and fucking cigarettes.
Tons of it. It's just a smoke cloud with alcohol in there.
Boy.
So apparently, though, people in there said that Marianne became mad at Paul when he made a remark about another woman at the bar. Look at the ass on this one. Look at titties here. And she was like, I'm leaving. So
that's a vet's wife. Calm down.
Yeah. That man died in Vietnam, and you're looking at her tits. This isn't fair. So she left without him, and she later tried to go back to get him, but he had already left to walk home.
Which is best, probably.
No shit. So by 2:00 in the afternoon, Paul had returned home. He's home already, and Marianne is out looking for him while he's home. He returns home and again calls his parents. He just talked to them. Why is he? I bet he forgot he talked to them the first time. This time he talked to his dad, who was watching the halftime. It was watching the football game. It was at halftime for the Vikings and Packers that day.
Okay.
So as they did every week, Paul and his dad discussed the Packer game, or the Viking game, because it's Minnesota here. This game, by the way, I looked it up. The Vikings ended up winning 21-17.
Wow.
This game. Yes, Quadri Ishmael caught a 6-yard pass from Jim McMahon, who was quarterbacking at that time. Sterling Sharp caught a touchdown from Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Chris Carter from Jim McMahon. Chris Carter from Jim McMahon. That's pretty fucking awesome. So, 21-17. Anyway, that's the final score.
It's a great game.
That is all. Mark Clayton caught a pass from. These are all like 80s, 90s names. That's cool. So also, Wilson told his father that he and Marianne were having a really hard time cutting off the end of the Christmas tree You know, the bottom, you got to cut it so you can put it in the water and all that shit.
Yep,
So we can't
off of it. Yep.
fucking do it. He's all pissed off because they're drunk. You know how hard it is to operate a saw when you're hammered?
Yeah, and he's
Not easy.
He's probably got a butter knife out there.
Yeah, or one of those shit hand saws.
You
can't
Jesus!
do that when you're drunk.
Oh man, those are a nightmare.
Oh my God! So during all this, I guess Wilson's father determined that you were trying to cut it off with a finishing saw, and it wasn't a good saw to do it with. You need a better saw.
Too fine a blade. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a little tiny one. So during this 5-minute conversation, his father said that Paul was, quote, thick-tongued because he'd been drinking.
Yeah.
Sounded drunk.
Slurring. Yeah.
Slurring. So at 2:30 or 2:40, he calls his parents again. He just talked to them. 2:05.
Boy. Yeah.
He hung up with his dad. He
You
calls
own
back.
a house, man.
Dude, you're a drunk who owns a house. What are you doing? You don't. Yeah. So his mother answers the phone this time, and he screams into the phone as soon as she answers, "Mama, mama," which he's a grown man who calls his mother mama, which is interesting. "Mama, mama, come quick. Mary's dead."
Oh.
That's what he screams into the phone and hangs up.
That was.
Okay, she was fine 35 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So they apparently jump into their car and drive over to the house because they live close by, and they find Paul standing near the garage.
Okay.
They talk to him for a few minutes, and then his father entered the home to call the police because, you know, there's a dead person. That's usually the procedure. Talks to him. When he enters the home, he finds Mary Ann's body on the living room floor.
Oh, no.
Out, just splayed out there. So a few minutes later, Mom enters the house, too, and inadvertently, as she's walking, she kicks a handgun that was on the living room floor.
Okay.
Which is not good. She was worried that the gun would go off. You know, you don't just leave guns laying around on the living room floor to be kicked. So she picked the gun up and placed it on the couch for safekeeping.
Very responsible.
Very responsible. Honey, I'm gonna put your gun over here. Okay, that's better.
I'm gonna put my hands all over it.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my fingerprints on this gun while there's a dead woman lying on the floor. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can I touch the bullets too? Thanks, sweetie. Okay.
Check the body.
Wow. So at 2:47 p.m., the Crystal police are dispatched to the home.
Here they come.
They're coming. The officers who entered the home find Mary Ann's body face up in the living room and determine she's obviously dead.
Yeah, it's over.
Clearly. So they said the officers noted that the home is in a state of disarray. Mm-hmm. It's like two shit-faced, hammered people live here. It's weird.
Yeah, it's probably not just happened. It's probably been like this a while.
Oh, yeah. They found numerous alcohol bottles, like, on the floor, empties over here. Like, there's bottles of booze just, like, rolling around the floor.
It looks like there was a struggle. It looked like this 3 days ago.
This is normal for us. Yeah. But it's like a pirate ship with, like, you know,
it's got a
shit everywhere. That's all it is. We got an empty rum barrel over here, guys. You want to take prints on this? The Christmas tree is lying on its side in the living room. This is quite the scene.
Part of it, yeah.
This is so scene. And there are saw marks on the trunk where they tried to cut it, and blood all over the base of the Christmas tree. This is a bloody Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree, your base is full of DNA. What the fuck is happening in this place?
So
Imagine walking into the scene as a cop. The officers find, at this point, the saw has blood all over it as well.
Yeah.
They find a shell casing on the floor near the tree as well.
Oh, no.
That is not what Santa left for the kids, I don't think. So they noted a glass picture frame hanging near the living room couch had been shattered, leaving broken shards of glass all over the couch.
Oh.
Also, they found the gun that Wilson's mother placed on the couch and a significant amount of blood on the floor. They said the largest pool of blood was roughly 18 inches in diameter and was under the base of the tree.
Wow.
2 or 3 feet from her.
Uh-huh.
A second, smaller pool of blood had collected under her body. So, to them, it's obvious she's been moved to finish bleeding where she is now. So, based on an initial review of the scene, investigators determined that Mary Ann was likely shot in the back of the head at very, very close range, like muzzle touching her fucking head, execution mafia style.
What the fuck, man?
Back of the head as she kneeled over the end of the Christmas tree.
Like she's going to saw it.
Yeah, she's trying to saw it or trying to get it into the thing, into the stand or whatever, and he just came up, or someone came up, and base of the skull just executed her. I mean, it's an execution is what that is. There's no doubt about it. Then they also suspect, like we said, the body's been moved from its original position near the tree. Mm-hmm. So they conduct an autopsy the following day, and they confirm that she died of a single gunshot wound to the back of the head, likely inflicted from behind when she's in a kneeling position.
Right.
Based on the blood found inside the gun barrel, that's how close it was. There's blood in the fucking gun barrel.
Blood got inside while force was pushing out of it.
The other way.
Still got in.
At a rate of like 3 miles per second. Yeah. It's a fucking...
Wow.
So that's a lot. That's how close it was. Yeah. There is also an imprint of the muzzle on her head. This is contact. This isn't even from 2 inches. This is right against your fucking head. The medical examiner also said the gun found at the scene had been fired while pressed against the back of her head as well. So it's obvious. Blood alcohol levels on everybody before we get into what Paul says here.
Let's do that.
Mary Ann's is a .29, which is...
I don't know that I've ever been that drunk.
That's you got
so drunk.
If I pumped that much into you, you wouldn't be able to walk to take a piss.
I'd go lay down. Yeah.
Paul's BAC .34.
That's a dangerous human being. If
that's
he can walk.
Dead rock star level.
Yeah.
That's fucking like, John Bonham. We're all very sad that he died, but that's a lot of fucking booze to have in your system.
I mean, he probably shouldn't have sat down on that bottle and did a headstand. That's a lot of alcohol.
That's a shitload of alcohol. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Even 4 hours later, it's still .31. So, I mean, he is sauced at this moment. So back to the scene. Other officers review the crime scene. Sergeant Hardy of the Crystal Police approaches Wilson and his parents here because they haven't really talked to him yet. They've noticed the body. They're trying to catalog. After determining, yes, Paul Wilson is the one that lives here, Mary Ann's his girlfriend, she lived here, and that they were the only people home prior to the arrival of the parents, and Mary Ann was already dead on the floor, they go ahead and arrest Paul at that point.
Yeah.
Well, you said no one else was here. She didn't shoot herself in the back of the fucking head, so...
Why do those people always get surprised when they're arrested? When they're like,
what?
Nobody else was here. I swear to God I didn't do it. Sir.
The next thing you know, they're, can I pee? Because I have to pee. And there's nowhere to pee in this car. Oh, Jesus. So they read him his Miranda rights. They put him in the squad car. The Sergeant Hardy gets in the front seat of the car and asks him preliminary questions, name, date of birth, address, and all of that. According to Sergeant Hardy, Wilson stated he understood his rights and agreed to answer questions. Right. So Sergeant Hardy said, this is the exchange that went down. He said, do you wish to talk to me at this time? And the guy, Paul, said yes. He said, so he asked him some questions. He said, quote, I asked him what happened that day, and he told me that he and the decedent, Mary Hagford, had been drinking all day. He stated that they had gotten angry at each other over smashing some Christmas ornaments.
Okay, so one person smashed them and the other one was angry.
Yeah, or they got mad at each other and then they both smashed Christmas ornaments. We don't know. Okay. I asked him what happened to Mary, and he said he didn't want to talk about Mary just then.
Not yet.
I asked him if he owned a handgun, and he said yes, he did. He owned a Browning. I asked him what's the caliber of the handgun, and he told me he didn't recall.
Oh?
That's pretty drunk. He told me that he called his parents and told them to come to the residence and told them what happened when he called them on the phone. And that's when the cop said, after this, I quit questioning him.
Uh-huh.
Why? It seems like he's starting to, start poking.
Yeah.
So according to the sergeant, he interpreted Wilson's statement that he did not want to talk about Mary just then to mean that Wilson was willing to talk about subjects other than Mary. And he also indicated that he could smell the alcohol on his breath, but Wilson appeared to be responsive to the questions and did not have difficulty with his balance or speech.
Unbelievable.
.34.
That's a man who's used to it.
That's an alcoholic, man. The entire conversation was like 6 minutes, so not exactly an intense interrogation here. Didn't exactly put him under the hot lights,
6 minutes.
Yeah, at 3:37 p.m., he transported Wilson to the Robbinsdale Police Department, where they met the lieutenant. At 4 o'clock, 2 officers began to interview him, And he said because Sergeant Hardy indicated he had earlier read Wilson his Miranda rights, the lieutenant did not do it again, which he should have, by the way. That's, just in case. What does it take, an extra 10 minutes? Put it in there.
The man's blood alcohol level alone. Remind him every 15. How about we do that?
You have the right to remain silent. Okay, good. Go on. Continue. Just want to let you know.
Just so you know.
Just give him a little reminder. Maybe we'll tie a ribbon around his finger just so he knows. Oh, yeah, Miranda.
Put a rubber around his wrist, anything.
It says Miranda on it. So the lieutenant conducted the interview and wrote down both the questions and the answers. They did not tape record this interview either. They just wrote it down.
Don't like that.
This is the 90s. There's tape recorders available. It's 1942.
I'm taping over all kinds of stuff all day when a new song comes out. Yeah.
Oh, totally. You're making a mixtape here. So during the interview, Wilson indicated that they'd been drinking schnapps, beer, and rum that day.
Ew.
And that's not even counting the fact that he had tequila at the VFW, too. Schnapps, beer, rum, and tequila? Do those things go together in your stomach?
No, that's not
Holy
fun.
Hell.
He doesn't drink for fun anymore.
No, it's just whatever he can get. Imagine the shits that man has after that.
Good
Lord.
Lord.
They have got to be vicious.
There's blood. He can't sit.
He's like, is that a chunk of my pancreas in there? Holy shit. This is getting scary. I need to stop. He recounted that he was sleeping on the living room couch when Hagford came out of the bedroom screaming at him. So sometime after he talked to his dad about the Vikings game, and 35 minutes later when he'd committed a murder, he fell asleep, nodded off for a bit.
And Mary's had enough.
She came out screaming at him. He said although Mary did not have a weapon, she was threatening him and struck him on the feet. It's an odd place to try to abuse someone.
No,
doesn't sound.
She's drunk too.
Yeah, she probably just slapped him on his foot there, which is, not a big deal. Wilson further stated that as Mary approached, he reached for a gun he kept under the couch cushion. Because when you're that shit-faced, you really want to have a gun accessible at all times, just to be able to pull right out and use if you need it.
If you drink like that, you should never be around weapons. You shouldn't. No. You shouldn't. You certainly shouldn't have one quick draw style.
Jesus Christ. He said he shot Hagford one time as she was standing near the bedroom door facing him, which is impossible because she shot point blank at the back of the head. He said he kept an ammunition clip loaded. He said he did not think a round was in the chamber at the time. Okay. Again, this is why you don't handle firearms when you're this shit-faced. According to Paul, after Mary fell, he moved her to check on her condition. So he said, I pulled her away from the tree to check on her there. Right. So that's funny. The lieutenant said he didn't tape record the interview because, quote, he felt it would be intimidating. It's a fucking interrogation room and his girlfriend's dead. The tape recorder is not the end-all be-all.
If you've been in the midst of a dead body and now you're talking to the cops, if you're not intimidated, there's something wrong with you.
You should probably be intimidated here. So near the end of the interview, the lieutenant asked Wilson if he'd be willing to give his statement taped. We'd be willing to tape it. But Wilson responded, I wouldn't mind doing it, but not right now. You have to understand, I just killed the woman I love.
Oh.
Now he's sad. Yeah. So during the end of the interview, they had him sketch the crime scene where he said he was. Yeah, that must have been awesome. I wish I could see that. And signed a form consenting to the search of his home.
Okay.
So the lieutenant said that although Wilson had bloodshot eyes, smelled of booze, and stated he'd been drinking since 6 a.m., he did not appear to have difficulty with the task before him.
Frightening.
So, wow. Both the lieutenant and the sergeant also said that Wilson was responsive, spoke clearly, and seemed to think and understand the questions before answering. So both officers later said Wilson requested 2 bathroom breaks during the hour-and-a-half interview, and he did not appear to have difficulty with motor coordination as he walked.
That man is a fucking hero.
Wow. He's taken to the hospital later on, and his blood alcohol level at 610 was 0.31. So,
Jesus.
Which is well after he stopped drinking. At 6:40, after visiting the crime scene, the lieutenant interviewed Wilson again, with the sergeant again present. Prior to this interview, they warned him of his Miranda rights, and again he said he understood his rights. He takes notes. Second interview was 30 to 40 minutes. They questioned him about several inconsistencies between his statements and the crime scene. Like, you said you shot her in the front, and the back of her head is where the hole is. So that's a problem. Yeah. They said both officers testified that his demeanor was similar to that of the first one, competent to engage in conversation. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going. Look good out there. And you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable. And you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, it's great. Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
And although they would have liked to have tape recorded the second interview, he didn't do so because he assumed Wilson would refuse as he had done in an earlier interview. Right. Well, you need that, though. That's the proof of what he said. Yeah. So you got to get better at selling that. That's what a cop does. A cop's fucking job in a murder interrogation is to convince this person to talk to them.
Yeah.
So you want...
Or get the fucking legislation to pass a law that he doesn't have to agree. Just fucking, if he's on the
rooms are just
if you're in the premises of a police station, you should probably assume that anything you say is being recorded.
Well, yeah, exactly. But a cop has to be able to sell it and go, listen, this is for your safety. Right. I'm not just doing this for you never know what we could say. We could say you said you killed 10 people. You set the Chicago fire, for Christ's sake. You could say anything. This protects you to have it recorded. He's drunk. You can't talk a drunk into something? Are you fucking kidding me? Holy shit, what the hell kind of lame cop are you?
Douchebags talk women out of their panties when they've had one drink.
Shit.
This guy's shit hammered.
Shit hammered.
Get him to give you a
vulnerable
blowjob
state.
and admit to killing JFK.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Jerk you off, I'm sure.
Let's close some cases.
And RFK, all of them, goddammit. Every Kennedy. He was the guy that made Ted Kennedy swerve off the road and kill that chick, too.
Let's close some goddamn cases.
Do it. The lieutenant at his notes said his notes of the interviews, he said he typed them and confirmed the accuracy with, of the typed report with Wilson, then threw away his notes.
Unbelievable.
Jesus Christ. It's like they've never been involved in a murder before, these fucking people.
It's like they hate their job.
It's like it's bad at it. Just bad at it, period. So the 9mm pistol was recovered near the couch. Like we said, he kept it under the cushion there. Yeah. Theory of the crime. State's theory is that he murdered her during an argument that regarding the Christmas tree. We've all argued over Christmas trees.
Boy, oh boy.
But not to this extent. No. According to the state's experts, the evidence at the crime scene suggested she was kneeling. They dragged her, muzzle mark on the back of the head. In support of the theory, they're going to have witnesses who testify to the position of the body, the pattern of the blood spatter marks, suggested she was kneeling with her head bent slightly forward and to the left when she was shot and fell forward with her head down. One expert indicated that Hagford had been standing, as Wilson indicated in his interview, but blood from the gunshot wound would have created a blood spatter pattern on the wall if she was standing.
Right.
If she's kneeling, it would have gone down, and that's what happened here. That's how they figured that out, by the way. The state also presented expert testimony later on, indicating that after a significant amount of blood had drained, her body was turned over and pulled backwards by the arms away from the tree. They said that it was such of great volume, the blood around the tree, that it had saturated the carpet and flooring and dripped through to the basement.
That's a lot of blood.
That's a shitload of blood. They also emphasized that when police arrived, her body was several feet away from that pool of blood. They called a pathologist who said that his blood alcohol level was 0.34, which is fucking crazy. And this guy said that even at 0.34, an alcoholic could still carry out volitional acts and could plan conduct.
Sure.
Yep, so we've seen it. An expert further testified that the occurrence of a blackout or memory failure due to intoxication was not relevant to the issue of whether that an intoxicated person could formulate a plan.
Sure.
Just because they don't remember it afterwards doesn't matter. So at first they set his bail at $500,000. Then they lower it to $350,000.
Based on what?
Then they lower it to $200,000.
Based on what?
Based on him asking for it.
Wow.
So, yeah, they said her brother, this is Marianne's brother Bob, said that he was shocked to discover that the bail keeps getting reduced.
Yeah.
He said, my jaw dropped to the floor. How can this keep happening? They seem to want to let this guy out to walk the streets.
Minnesota Nice is real.
Whew, yeah, you know what? He seems okay. Well, he makes bail at $200,000.
Of course he does.
He's got parents that want to help him.
Yeah.
On December 23rd also, so
4
it's,
days,
for the holidays. The brother said, we were attending the funeral of my sister and he was already walking the streets. He spent a total of 4 days in jail.
Unbelievable.
That is horrible. Here's what the judge says about it. Why did he do this? He said that that he weighed the severity of the crime and the information that Wilson, who's a lifelong Minnesota resident, has a full-time job, is not likely to flee or be dangerous if released, although if he gets behind the wheel of a car, he is. They said his criminal history showed a disorderly conduct charge in 92 and drunk driving citations.
Yeah.
He said, if I were a parent or family member of the victim, I would certainly feel there were grounds to be upset. But I'm the judge here, and I have a certain obligation. I still believe, given the information I had available, that I made the right decision.
Also, the resources that they probably required with him being in jail as an alcoholic
medical?
that functions like that. The DT, just to monitor him through the withdrawals. Yeah. Get him the fuck out of here. He's still shaking.
We dropped it to 350, so he's still here. Let's see. How about 2? He's still shaking, man. So the prosecutor said, this is one of the most brutal murder cases I've come across. I thought the $350,000 bail was appropriate to keep him in jail until the disposition of the case. The lieutenant who interviewed him said, we were confused, befuddled, and agitated. Nobody consulted us. Nobody notified us.
Yeah.
That they're going to do that. Well, your part of it is over now. You've arrested him. That's your job now. Now you testify, period. You don't have say in that stuff.
Follow up with you on everything?
Yeah. They didn't ask us. Okay, well, yeah. You have other shit you're doing now. So, yeah, where are your notes? How about that before we talk about what we've done wrong?
Shit.
Let's talk about your notes and your lack of tapes. So he's back in jail very quickly, though, because they redo the charges, basically. He's indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of assault, and that gets the bail higher, and he gets thrown back in jail.
Okay.
So the prosecutors figured out a way to do it. At trial, Paul testifies. He does it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He's got to.
But his story doesn't match, and that's not good.
He's got to be believable to the jury. Otherwise, he's fucked, because his story is, I shot her.
Right.
There's not a lot to work with there.
That's what the state says, too.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's a tough one. No shit. So more than 3 hours of testimony, he described a horrible downward spiral in which he and Marianne found themselves and couldn't or didn't want to change it. They were just drinking and fighting. Under questioning, he said that he doesn't recall shooting her because he blacked out from drinking, but he said he didn't think he would do such a thing. Mm-hmm. Well, you did.
Based on what? Your very first time you did that.
Yeah. Well, he said he conceded that he probably shot her. He doesn't remember it, but he probably did because no one else was there. He testified he didn't intend to harm or kill her. He testified he'd been drinking heavily and had no memory of any events from Friday evening to Sunday morning of that weekend.
Wow.
He lost
a weekend.
A whole weekend. Everybody's blacked out for the weekend. Wow.
He is just drinking all weekend long.
All week. Yeah, that's from the time he got off work. He didn't recall any events from the time he left the VFW at 1:30 on Sunday until he heard an explosion and saw Hagford on the floor of their home.
Yeah, that's a gunshot, friend.
He said he remembered kneeling next to her, seeing blood on her face, and later standing in the garage, but doesn't remember calling his parents or speaking to the police.
Okay.
He says he recalls being questioned at the police department, but he doesn't recall the content of those discussions and doesn't remember speaking to either the sergeant or the lieutenant, who are the 2 people who talked to him. He said, quote, he remembers being outside the driveway, and he said, quote, the next thing I remember is hearing an explosion, seeing Mary on the floor, and I don't remember anything else.
Right.
He said, over the months I've tried not to dwell on it, knowing Mary was dead and I was somewhat responsible. Somewhat responsible? Wow, is hard to cope with. Gee. He did say, though, that he has not had a drink since that day, and that God has played a very important role in his life since then. Now he's okay.
Well, listen, no matter what happens, no matter what action or activity I'm doing, if somebody dies in the
I'll stop doing that.
I'll never do it again.
Oop, that's wrong. Guess I fucked that up. I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Shit, and somebody died. I'm gonna sew it shut. I'm gonna wear a bag because that's never happening again.
Oh my God. Cross-examination here, though. He denied here that he said that he denied the reason that he called 911 4 times. By the way, Mary had called 911 because they bring up 4 different incidents there where there was 911 calls for Mary over the years. He said that it was not to stop his violent behavior from escalating, and he repeatedly denied ever hitting her. He said he doesn't remember being angry with her the day of the death either. Doesn't remember it at all. In their closing arguments, the jury here, the defense counsel, they said that they agreed, both sides agreed he shot and killed her. Okay, they agreed his blood alcohol level was, 0.34, 3.5 times the legal limit at that point. Now it's more like almost 5 times the legal limit at this point. They said, though, they disagreed about whether he was too drunk to form the intent to kill her. Prosecution called him a cold-blooded assassination, is what he did, noting that she was shot in the back of the head at close range. And his lawyer said, he was shit-faced. Are you kidding me? He's not capable of deliberate conduct. Look at his blood alcohol. What if you drank that much? You drink schnapps, rum, beer, and tequila by fucking 2 in the afternoon, you'd be sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Come on. But the prosecutor also said that she's 5'1" and 119 pounds and not likely to have been the aggressor. He's 5'11", 175. We both know that doesn't mean anything, though. I've had little girls attack me, like little women. I met girls because I met when I was like in school. I had a chick attack me that was fucking 5'1". So it happens.
Those little gals too, because they know you're not going to hit them back. They're feisty as fuck, man.
Until Snooki happens, and then until that happens, and oh wow, I almost shouldn't do that anymore. So, not that anyone should hit anybody. I'm just saying that was a stranger. That wasn't her boyfriend either. Luckily,
exactly.
That's good. They didn't go home together, I would hope, at the end of the night. So the only victim in this case is Mary Hagford, the prosecutor says. Verdict comes around. The jury finds him. Now they can do premeditated murder, first degree. They can do manslaughter, all sorts of stuff. They find him guilty of, he's going to be guilty of something, premeditated first degree murder.
It's got to be.
I mean, it has to be. But the jurors rejected 4 other murder and manslaughter charges that did not require premeditation, and they found him not guilty of first degree murder while committing domestic abuse.
Oh.
They said he wasn't beating her and then killed her. That was the abuse, was he killed her. So
yeah, it's got to be because she's shot in the back of the head with it pressed against her head. He threw that bullet at her, like he jabbed the gun at her while he pulled the trigger, and he did it because he was mad at her. But if he was beating her, she wouldn't be on her knees
kneeling
looking
before
at
the Christmas tree. Yeah, exactly.
She would be praising the tree.
Probably not. Yeah, trying to saw off the bottom. So before sentencing, they asked for a new trial.
Really?
They said his blood alcohol level was so high, he obviously wasn't capable of waiving his rights when he agreed to talk to the police. So everything he said should be not taken, which even then he'd still be convicted because he's the only fucking person there, and he doesn't have a story of anyone else that was there.
And she's shot in the back of the fucking head, man.
No shit. They argued there was not enough evidence to support a first-degree verdict and that Wilson was prejudiced by having to defend himself on manslaughter and murder charges at the same time. It's called a lesser charge, and that happens constantly. The prosecution argued that Wilson made an intelligent and knowing waiver of his Miranda rights, and his attorneys were free to present any evidence they wanted to that, of coercion or whatever, but I haven't seen any. So the evidence overwhelmingly indicates that this was not this was a murder and not a manslaughter case, the prosecutor said. So during sentencing, the family has their statements that they get to make, obviously, here. One of them, Paul, does not want to hear the family statements. He asked the judge if he could leave the courtroom while the statements are being read against him.
Dude.
Now, technically, you're allowed to leave courtrooms but the judge said, no, you got to sit here and listen to this.
That's ballsy.
Which is great. I love it. That's great. They said, nope. They opposed his request, saying it was important for family members to speak directly to him, which is fair.
Say it to your face.
Now it's not about him anymore. Now it's about them. So in the end, the judge required Wilson to remain in the court, and you got to look at him, too. You really got to look up and look in their eyes. And Doris, the mom, just asked, quote, Paul, why did you kill her?
Yeah.
Fair question. Bob, her brother, read off a list of the family members who were affected by the killing and told Wilson his actions could not be excused by his alcoholism. He said, I went down that road of alcohol and drugs, but I changed because I wanted to. It can be done. Whether or not you get life imprisonment or you've got life and Mary got nothing, I feel real bad about that Minnesota does not have the death penalty.
Oh.
So they said, by the way, the days where they were doing this was Mary's 29th birthday.
Of course it was.
It's her birthday. So, her brother-in-law said that his parents could no longer bail. Your parents can't bail you out of trouble. He said, you're finally getting what you deserve, even though it isn't enough for any of us. This is someone I think whose parents have really coddled him and really made it.
He made 3 phone calls to his parents in the same day.
Yeah, Mom. But he calls his mom Mama at 20-something. So, I mean, maybe other people do. I don't know. So
what do you call your mom?
Mom?
Yeah. I go with Ma.
Or Ma. I was going to say, that's
I say
Ma. Italians do it. Ma.
Yeah.
So it's a joke, as a matter of fact. They go, hey, Ma, all the time. Yo, Ma.
Yeah, there's Ma and Pa in our trash
Never
family.
Mama.
No? Never.
No, never. Maybe when I was 2, but I don't know. So sister-in-law Sharon said that Wilson abused Mary physically and mentally during most of the 8 years of the relationship, and that she made excuses for him and blamed himself for her behavior. After the killing, she said Wilson tried to rob her of her character by claiming she was the abuser. Quote, no one who knew her would believe that. And her brother said, the whole ordeal has changed me, and I feel I will always harbor some bitterness. One thing I've learned and would tell everyone is if you suspect any type of abuse or if you have been abused, talk to someone and do something before it's too late. Yeah. Very good advice. Paul reads his statement.
Oh, what's he say?
He said he loved Mary and didn't intend to hurt her. He said, not a day goes by that I don't think of Mary. He said that he didn't deserve forgiveness, but he hoped the family members could find a way to forgive him. And he also said he knew that he would see Mary someday and that they would have a better life together than that they had on Earth.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That is a terrible... Is he shit-faced again? How much schnapps did they give him before he said that?
Pruno, because didn't mean from the start. You didn't mean to intend. Fuck you! You shot a woman in the back of the head.
No shit. So the judge here, after hearing the statements, he says, "You, sir, may fuck off, life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Okay. So a hard 30 and then possibly parole. He's only like fucking Christ. He's not even 30 years old yet. Yeah. So that's crazy. So the reaction, her father, old Dick Hargood, said he was pleased. We know it won't bring Mary back, but we hope there's a message in this. Yeah, Hagford. Yeah. What did I say?
Hargood.
Hargood. Hargood? Hagford.
Jesus.
Hargood.
You wanted that dirtier.
Jesus. We know it won't bring Mary back, but we hope there's a message in this, and we all have to be responsible and accountable for our behavior. In his appeal, super quick here, he says they didn't Mirandize him. He didn't have the capacity to agree to that. Said he was too drunk to talk. Yeah. And, he didn't give an intelligent, knowing waiver of his Fifth Amendment rights, and therefore it should have gotten all of his statements thrown out, and we should get rid of this. And, also juror misconduct. Oh. He says the foreman failed to answer the jury questionnaire form truthfully by withholding information regarding his religious background.
What's that have to do with anything?
Wilson said that the juror approached Wilson's attorney following the return of the jury verdict and expressed concern that this juror was an ordained Baptist minister and may have held traditional Baptist religious views, impacting his ability to remain unbiased.
I got a feeling there's more than one of those in 12 in Minnesota.
As I say, what about the other 11?
Right.
They said the trial court concluded that even assuming the juror was an ordained Baptist minister and assuming traditionalist Baptist views are opposed to drinking, the court wasn't convinced that the juror lied or that these factors affected the jury at all. Yeah. So, affirmed, get fucked. Today, he is currently incarcerated at the MCF Lino Lakes.
Oh!
That's where he's at now, serving life. His caseworker, by the way, is Zdenek Korinek here. I'll give you his offender ID number. This is Paul's offender ID number, 178103. And I say this because he is up for parole in a couple months, like in a few months. That was 93. 30 years would be December of this year. He's been in jail since.
Do you think he gets out? He's got to, right?
He's going to get out. Absolutely. Yeah. He's going to say that he's changed now because now he's super religious. He's going to say he is religious. He was an alcoholic. His whole life was a disaster. He won't get out the first time because they never murder. They'll keep you. But probably 3 years from now, he'll get out 2-3 years from now. He'll do it every year.
We got to keep an eye. What if he gets out in December?
That could happen. Everybody keep your eyes out because he's going to come in all gray and be like, I was such a kid at the time and now this, I was 25,
he's going to be at the end of a bar stool, drunk as shit one day, and he's going to drive and hurt somebody.
Oh, God. This is going to be like Sonny, the wrestler. He's going to kill somebody's grandpa.
Yeah,
definitely. We've made the prediction. So there you go, everybody. That is Minnesota. Enjoy. That is Crystal, Minnesota. Hope you like that. If you did, get on whatever app you're listening on. Tell the world about it. Give us 5 stars. It helps immensely.
It does.
Drive us up the charts. So please do that. Say something nice about us. Doesn't matter which app it is. It's all good. Do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Tickets to live shows. The only regular live show that's available is December 2nd in Dallas.
Right.
So get there. Everything else is sold out. But at shutupandgivememurder.com/virtual live, you can get your tickets to the August 26th virtual live show. Holy shit, we're so excited. We love those. Anybody, anywhere in the world, anywhere with Wi-Fi, you can watch it. So enjoy that. It'll be available for a week after that as well. You can watch it as many times as you want. You can wait a couple days, do whatever. It'll be available through Halloween. It'll be a creepy Halloween episode. Our Halloween spectacular. We'll dress in costumes that we have planned, very dumb ones that are very funny. So check all that out and come see us. shutupandgivememurder.com/virtual live, a regular live show right in your living room. You can't wait for that shit. So do that. You also certainly want Patreon. Patreon.com/crime and sports. All your bonus materials, anybody $5 a month or above. It's a damn cup of coffee. Get in there. Couple hundred bonus episodes, back catalog you immediately get, plus new ones every other week. This week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, a gambling ring in hockey here, Operation Slapshot. We'll also talk about the movie Slapshot because we had never seen it till a month ago, which is so strange for adult men in America. So we had never seen that. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about the Fire Festival, the disastrous fallout. who the hell would buy tickets to another event that this idiot's putting on? All sorts of different shit. We'll do that.
Any other festival for that matter.
Any other festival after you saw Burning Man 2. That is patreon.com/crime in sports. And Crime in Sports is our other podcast that you should definitely be listening to, because you don't have to like sports. You have to like our jokes and people being idiots. And we'll do that, including us. Yeah. And then also listen to Your Stupid Opinions.
It's out there.
Which, if you're listening when this comes out normally, not early, it is out right now, and you can hear it. We're going to talk all about reviews from everywhere, and I promise you it will be goddamn funny. So get in there, check all that out, and listen to us, and keep coming back week after week. Follow us on social media at Murder Small, on Twitter at Small Town Murder, on Instagram, and that you'll find us. Just do it. Get in there. Drop down list, all that shit. There's links. Shut up and give me murder.com. Links to everything, including us if you want to hang out with us. Keep coming back and seeing us week after week. We'll be here. We will not go away. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
See you soon. Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.